right, we are back here at Radio Row ahead of Super Bowl 59 with Indianapolis Colts running back Jonathan Taylor. You are joining us on behalf of Dairy Queen. Thank you. First off, we'll get to that in just a second. Thank you so much for taking the time. How is your Super Bowl week going so far?
So far, my Super Bowl week it's going actually amazing. It's my first time really in New Orleans and just being able to take in the sights, the sounds, the food. So it's really awesome, and we're just getting started.
Okay, have you tried crawfish yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
I had
you gotta
gumbo.
do that. You had gumbo.
I had gumbo. That was really good, but not crawfish.
What are your thoughts on gumbo?
Gumbo is actually really good. Actually, and I didn't know I actually liked this. Is it okra? I think it's okra they put in there. I didn't know I liked that. I didn't know I liked that, so that's awesome.
It's weirdly actually very hard to find vegetables down here. I'm from California, so all I eat is kale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything down here is fried. It's hard to be healthy.
Yeah, it definitely is, but it's some good food. Gosh.
All right, let's talk about you and your season with the Indianapolis Colts. You're coming off another great season. You rushed for over 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns, named to a Pro Bowl. How did it feel to have another Pro Bowl season?
It's awesome. Yeah, those are hard to come by. Anytime you get to have an experience with other top guys around the league, guys that you've competed against or guys that you've watched, it's just a great feeling. And just to know that you're amongst one of the best, you kind of want to learn. You also, want to see the guys, like I mentioned, that you played against, but you also want to learn from them. Hey, man, what do you do in the off season? What do you do in season? So it's actually a really fun time.
Have you picked up any, you said you like to learn, so have you picked up any tips or anything from any other running backs down there?
Definitely. I've been speaking to Bijan about the spin move.
Okay.
That's not something that I do a lot, so I just want to add it to my repertoire, and I know he has that in his bag for sure.
The running back position is one of the most physically demanding in the NFL. How do you stay healthy through a long season?
Number one, it's all about being proactive. A lot of times guys wait until something goes wrong to get into the training room. Go in the training room beforehand. Start doing certain exercises, certain activation things to make sure you try to mitigate that risk as much as possible. And I think that's one of the biggest keys for me.
Okay, so you put up great numbers this season. So did guys like Derrick Henry. I just was talking to Bijan, Saquon Barkley, of course. Do you think that you guys have helped kind of bring some respect back to the running back position? Because it was getting a little disrespected, Jonathan.
Exactly. And I do think there's still more work to be done, but like you mentioned, guys like Saquon, Derrick, Josh Jacobs, those guys played at a high level this year to be able to disprove that false narrative that running backs, weren't valuable. And I think this year just shows that, hey, if you want to go far, look at how Philly's been running the ball. Right. And where are they at? They're in the Super Bowl, about to clinch, a Super Bowl championship. So there's no surprise. And I do think some of the younger guys like Gibbs, Bijan, those guys will also help continue that effort because they're very, very talented.
And the last time that a running back won MVP was 2012. Adrian Peterson did it. Is it time?
I think it is time. I think it is time. It's almost as if, Derrick in 2020, I believe, when he, went for 2,000 yards, it's like, he didn't get a vote? He didn't.
Yeah, what are we waiting for?
What are we talking about?
What's going on?
But I do have high hopes. I think Saquon showed his versatility, his explosiveness, his playmaking ability, and I think it's time.
All right, you are joining us on behalf of Dairy Queen.
Yes.
Delicious, by the way.
Oh, amazing.
What do we got going on ahead of Super Bowl week?
Well, number one, I'm out here helping promote their Sauce and Toss Honey Barbecue Chicken Strip Basket.
Wow.
One of my personal favorites, of course, after a big game, more so in the offseason, a little bit more, don't tell Indy. Don't tell Indy, a little bit more. But then also pairing with that, I have to have one of the Oreo Blizzard treats. That's automatic. That's automatic, mandatory.
That's a lock.
But like I said, more so indulging in the offseason. But for sure, if I go for 200 yards, I'm probably going to have to stop at DQ for sure.
I love it. Okay, before I let you go, I want to grab your Super Bowl prediction. Did I just hear you say, though, earlier that you think the Eagles are going to clinch a Super Bowl?
Yes. He's up for Defensive Player of the Year. My guy, Zach Bond. He's going to help hold the defense down. Saquon, a fellow running back, I'm sure he's going to be explosive. It's going to be no different like the rest of the season. But I will say this, when you're playing a well-coached Chiefs team and arguably the best player in football with Patrick Mahomes, you got to play a perfect game and you got to capitalize on their mistakes.
All right, we'll see what happens on Sunday. Jonathan Taylor taking the Eagles over the Chiefs here ahead of Super Bowl 59. Thanks so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate the time. Thank you.